We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April, 2021 at 1:44 p.m. Signed, juror foreperson, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 2. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 2, third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April, 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Signed by jury foreperson, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 3. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April, 2021.
Guilty on all counts. Derek Chauvin, facing decades now in prison, depending on what the judge decides to do with the sentence, and we still have to enter that phase. It's very likely that there will be an immediate appeal here, and there are certainly grounds that have already been talked about for that appeal to proceed. It is, I will tell you, it was a surprise to me that he was guilty on all 3 counts. Most of the legal experts, the people that I trust in this issue, thought that it was an instance of overcharging. And there are a lot of people now who are going to look at this, and obviously they believe that justice was done. Other people might view this as partial justice in the sense that they would have given him a guilty verdict on the manslaughter charge, but not on the charge of third-degree murder and second-degree murder. They wouldn't have gone with the higher counts in this instance. It's troubling that a case like this would have so much pressure behind it, would have the President of the United States weighing in, would have him calling the brother of deceased George Floyd, would have members of Congress talking about the right verdict being reached. Did this jury actually feel free, or was the jury confined, intimidated, worried about a verdict that would not have pleased the mobs that have been outside this courtroom all along? We'll have to wait and see. This is an incident that obviously started the BLM, the initial George Floyd incident started the BLM riots that caused billions of dollars of damage and destroyed buildings in cities across the country, attacked law enforcement officers, didn't make communities safer, didn't actually get any police reform. And now we sit here and we see what is the reaction from the movement, so to speak. You have downtown Minneapolis looking like it's prepared for an invasion by the North Korean regular army. You have other cities extending police details and putting in place barriers and other security measures at high-profile targets to deal with what they believe to be imminent rioting. Why would there be riots now? We should ask that question. I understand what the activists would say. I understand what the left, the anarchists, BLM, and the rest would say. But we have a justice system. It's the only system we have. There is no other system in this country. And it just came down with severe judgment against Officer Derek Chauvin. So for those who believe that he was guilty of all 3 counts, for those who believe that Derek Chauvin wanted to murder George Floyd, shouldn't this show that the system works? Shouldn't this show that there is, in fact, justice possible under the law? And if they feel that way, why would there be rioting? Now, as I speak to you, it's not clear whether there will be any. Perhaps this was all just preparation that was unnecessary. Perhaps there was no reason to prepare downtown Minneapolis because the movement, such as it is, against police reform or the movement to abolish police or whatever they're calling it today, will realize that it's not possible for them to react to this verdict, this clear verdict of the jury, to condemn in the strongest possible legal terms this act by Derek Chauvin. I mean, he could be going to prison for much of the rest of his natural life for this act. Shouldn't that then stop people from feeling the need to attack innocents, destroy buildings, loot stores? The system, if you believe Chauvin was guilty, worked. But if you believe that Derek Chauvin didn't actually commit murder here, if you think that this was a situation of pressure brought to bear, very clear pressure, we all know that that was there, that Officer Chauvin was in a difficult circumstance, that he should have provided aid perhaps faster, but he had no racist or murderous intent whatsoever, and that he was merely trying to defuse the situation. If you feel that way, you see this and think, what message does this send to law enforcement across the country? Who's going to want to continue to do these jobs where they're dealing with people who have violent criminal histories, as George Floyd did, deal with people who are high on drugs, as George Floyd was, to have to grapple with them, physically wrestle them, not harm them too much, but also be able to use force? Who's going to want that job, feeling like at a moment's notice, if the wrong video gets out on YouTube, they could be in this position as well of facing charges?